Howdy pard, we're going to Wyoming. What are these? Gunfighting squirrels, canoeing squirrels.
These are pretty fun.
Hey guys, we're here in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and you guessed it, we're going to Wyoming, but we're taking the back roads the whole way there. It's gonna be awesome. We're leaving Steamboat now, and there is gonna be a lot of fun potential for things to explore in the van. Okay, we've gone north out of Steamboat. Now we're here in the little town of Clark. And I've never been here before, but there's some place here that looks pretty cool. We're gonna go in and check out the Clark store. Well, there it is, the Clark store. This is a place if you need an ATM, if you need a deli sandwich, if you need ice cream, if you need basic grocery type items, you can get it all in here with a lot of like kind of old-timey country store feeling vibe to it. It's really nice. Well, we're following some coordinates to an iOverlander camping spot. The road got narrower and narrower, and now it's gotten a little rougher. We're hoping that any second we're gonna come around the corner and find a place to camp. Well, we found a little wide spot here on this trail, and it looks like the road ends just a little ways up here. There's one place we thought might make a good campsite, so rather than driving all the way up here and then there maybe not being a place to turn around, we decided we'll just park and we'll walk up here and see what it's all about. Hopefully we'll find a good spot, but if we don't, we're in a good spot where we're staged to just turn around right there. Oh, this is gonna be great. Look, there's a big meadow here on both sides of the road. We should be able to camp here no problem. In fact, there's an old fire ring right here. All right, I guess I'll walk back down, get the van, come back up here. Well, this spot's gonna work really good. Look at this, we're back here tucked into the edge of the trees on the edge of the road, but the road has a gate just a short ways down. So I don't think we're gonna see much traffic coming down here. If we do, they're probably gonna be turning around and looking for another spot, just like we almost had to do. And turns out this time we got lucky and found a good spot. So we're gonna stay here tonight, and tomorrow we're gonna push on north towards the Wyoming border. All right, what a lovely campsite this is. It is so quiet back here. There has not been a single car, a single person, a single plane even fly by. It's just lovely back here. So I am gonna mark this camp spot for our patrons. It'll be on our Patreon, and there'll be a whole little mini field guide to this trip that'll give you guys all the information so you can come and recreate this trip if you want, or use it as part of another trip. But Kathy's staying back at the van. I'm getting a little antsy, so I'm gonna go out here and go on a hike. There is luckily a trail that goes through here. So let's go down here and see what we can find. What a great trail this is. My watch is saying that just crossed 7,000 steps, so that's pretty good. Hopefully I'll hit 10,000 by the time I get back. So as you guys who watch this channel know, I drive a lot. The thing I'm finding on some days is I'm not getting the physical exercise that I need, and I want to be better about that this year. I am going to try from now on to get out, go on a hike, explore something, get my mountain bike down, go on a ride, get my kayak out, go on a paddle, whatever it is, get some physical exercise outside of the van. That's really important for us all. And it's so amazing, you know, that we've got these incredible machines that we can drive around in and camp in these amazing places. But we got to remember that a lot of us got into this van world for the ability to be in these wild places and do these other things. And it's really important that we get out there and get the exercise, breathe the fresh air, and see things on our feet or by pedaling or paddling. It's going to do us a lot of good, health-wise, and it's just a lot of fun. Well, this is a beautiful, beautiful hike back in here. All right, so I'm going to hoof it out of here, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning, Northern Colorado. This place is beautiful. We had a great night last night. It actually got down to 38 degrees. We love cool weather sleeping, and it was perfect last night. But today it's gonna be up in the almost 70s, so it is a perfect day here in Colorado. But we're packing up here from this camp, and we're getting ready to go back down this 4x4 road a short ways until it hits pavement again, and then it is northbound. What do we have here? You know you're getting close to Wyoming when you see a sheep roadblock. How many sheep? 500.
500.
Oh,
Wow.
where are you from?
¿Dónde está? Where are you from?
Oh, Peru.
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 Yeah, okay. Have a good day.
You too. Adios.
Okay, that was super cool. It's always fun seeing these massive herds of sheep. And that is something I often think of when I think of Wyoming, is there being tons of sheep up there. And so we're not quite in Wyoming yet, but we're already seeing the signs. Wow, we're over here in the Aspens. The road has turned to dirt. And we might be the luckiest people around because the grader has just come through and this road is dirt, but it is smooth as asphalt.
One of my favorite quick breakfasts in the van is sourdough toast with avocado and smoked salmon. It takes 4 minutes to toast the bread in the air fryer, and then you just slice the avocado, put on the smoked salmon, and you are ready for a quick and healthy breakfast.
All right, we've made it to the Wyoming border, and actually the road that we're driving on is the border right now. Colorado, and then the other side of the road is Wyoming. We're on the border. There's no signs, there's no nothing. The only way I know is by looking on my Garmin GPS, and it's a dirt road, and we've been through some of the most beautiful country. I mean, maybe one of the most beautiful parts of Colorado I've ever seen. Well, the maze of dirt roads we've been on this morning has now led us not only into Wyoming, but onto some pavement. Well, we've made it to the town of Encampment, Wyoming. Seems to be kind of a sleepy little town, but it does have post office and a couple of restaurants and what the heck is that thing? Some other stores. We're here waiting in line at the Sinclair gas station. They actually have diesel for $4.99, which seems like a lot, but it's actually cheaper than it was in Steamboat. So we're gonna go ahead and top off before we get to the more remote parts of this trip. All right, here we go. We're jumping on I-80. We just go for a short ways. This is gonna be the only interstate that we do on this little leg, but it's just helping us connect a couple of these smaller roads that we want to explore. Well, we've made it to the town of Rawlins, Wyoming. People joke here that the weather vane is just a cinder block hanging off of a piece of chain. And if the cinder block is moving, it's windy. And it's often windy in Rawlins, Wyoming. But here we go. As quick as we came, we're leaving. We've made it to our turnoff, and basically I put together this route just studying maps and trying to find an interesting way to go from Steamboat up into Wyoming. But this is the part that I'm the least sure about. So this is either going to be a massive success and we're going to have found a really cool new route through here, or we might go halfway and realize the roads don't go through and have to turn around and backtrack. Either way, we've made it to Wyoming, but I'm just hoping we can put together something special here. So now we're out here in this massive area of public lands, and it is beautiful, but it is super windy. We're getting 40, 45 mile an hour gusts, and honestly, I'm excited to turn off onto this smaller road and drive a little slower. We were getting blown all over the place, especially with the kayaks on the roof. Oh boy, can't even open the door. Wow, welcome to Wyoming! Let's see, I'm gonna get behind the van here. I have a little bit of a windbreak. Well, if you've spent much time in southern Wyoming, especially on the I-80 corridor, you know Wyoming is windy, and it's living up to that reputation today. It is blowing so hard out here, we decided to literally pull over in the van for a few hours and hopefully let it chill out. Now this is going to be a new route for me through Wyoming. I've never gone through this kind of little Badlands area. I'm looking forward to checking it out. I looked on iOverlander to see if there's any cool campsites or anything back here, and there is nothing. I kind of think this is a place that a lot of people don't go to, and I can understand why, but I'm also really excited to explore these kind of places and get out here for myself and see what's out here. All right, let's go back in the van. I got something to show you. All right, I want to show you guys a new device I recently got. This is a Garmin Tread 2 Overlander. But this one's kind of special in that it's a little larger, and I can mount it right on the A column using this Pro Clips mount. And I like that because when it rides right here, it doesn't really block the view I have of the road hardly at all, because the A column here naturally blocks the view, but when I mount it like this, it just rides right in that void. Okay, now how do I plan these routes? Well, it's a lot. It's looking at satellite imagery and zooming in close and looking at the roads. This red line here, the bottom of it is in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and this is what we've just done over the last 2 days. We are right here, zoom in, and we've gone up here to Rawlins, and now we're parked right here off in this kind of Badlands area. We're about to start that. And as you zoom in here, this is really cool. I can see these yellow squares are BLM land. They are public lands. And these other ones, most of them are state trust lands. Some of them are private property. But out here where we are right now, these are Wyoming state trust lands. And we're gonna follow this green line and eventually turns into a purple line, which is another route that I made. And this is all gonna be this one video. I love this device because it's got a lot of things that I like to use. It's got weather, I can have radar, I can do road conditions, which is pretty neat. It tells me strong wind, snow, ice, rain, fog. And look, right here, I'm in the strong winds is the yellow section. And boy, it's living up to that. And then I can back out of here. And something I use daily is the pitch and roll. I hit pitch and roll, and here it gives me pitch is front to back, roll is side to side, and it tells me here that I'm 0 degrees on pitch and I'm 1 degree off on roll. This is really nice for when we're looking for places to camp and I pull in somewhere and I can just kind of move the van around until I get this pretty much leveled out. It does all sorts of other things. It mixes in and works with my inReach. I can play music off of it through Bluetooth. I can do all kinds of stuff. It'll tell me how many satellites it's connected to. It'll connect to my phone. It'll do all sorts of stuff. I've only had this device maybe 3 weeks now, and it's been really nice. I'm getting to know it better, getting to understand some of the different features, but it's been awesome. It's really nice having a device with a screen this large at my fingertips with all this information. It just makes navigating and traveling that much easier. So there it is, the Garmin Tread 2 Overland. And it snaps on and off. These cool little magnets, it's powered. So if I park somewhere and I wanna not leave it on the dash, I can undo it. Good morning, Wyoming. We're here in the Divide Basin, which is part of the Great Red Desert. We are in a massive area out here with very few people. This is one of the least occupied portions of the lower 48 of the United States. This is a place, if you want to come out and find solitude, quiet, big, black, dark skies at night, that's great for seeing stars or the northern lights or whatever you want to see, it is out here. Now yesterday too, we saw tons of pronghorn out here, antelope, and they were flying. They run so fast across the desert as you come driving up to them. They just take off running, and they're actually a lot of fun to watch. We also saw a herd of wild horses, and this area is known for its wild horses, and we saw at least 10 or 15, and they were so fun to watch because they're just running around, they're playing with each other, they're rolling in these little sandy areas, and big clouds of dust would come up. It was a lot of fun watching these wild horses. And basically there is a maze of dirt roads, BLM roads, going throughout this whole area. So you have a lot of good access in your 4x4 van. You can get back into some really cool wild places. And once you're here, just like right now, you feel like you have the place all to yourself. Now, Wyoming is a wild and diverse landscape. You've got everything from these sagegrass plains to these canyons to sand dunes that are right over here. And then you get over into the mountains. Right over here is the Wind River Range, and that's gonna be our next stop. Oh, but there's one other thing. Today is a pretty special day because it's our wedding anniversary. Kathy and I have been today married 25 years. And I never would have guessed if you would have asked me as a young newlywed where I would be on our 25th anniversary. Gosh, I don't know what I would have told you, but I can guarantee I would not have said the red desert of Wyoming. Well, here we are, and life has a funny way of taking you in all these crazy places that you couldn't dream, and honestly, I'm so happy to be here. All right, as I was packing up, getting ready to go, I looked down at my feet, just like right here, and look what I found. In this case, I've got an old metal can. Now this is my magnet that you might remember from our video on Hole in the Rock Road, where I picked up all those nails in an old campsite. Well, there's a lot of old metal that I'm discovering here in this place we're camped right now. I'm gonna pick it up and add it to my collection. So the cool thing is this magnet is on a stick. It makes it easy for me to pick things up off the ground, but it has a handle here. And watch this, when I pull the handle, it releases whatever's on the magnet, and I can just easily pick it up again. So this makes a really great way to pick up a lot of nails and trash, things that people have left on our public lands, clean the place up in a quick and efficient way. I've got a pretty good haul this morning. I'm seeing a few more things. I'm gonna do a few more sweeps, and then I'm gonna pack this all out of here. I've made a pile right here of all my stuff. I'm gonna pick it up and I'll bag it up before we leave. But let's see, what else can we find? It's funny, here there is a bunch of nuts and bolts that looks like somebody disassembled some sort of machinery or something and just left all these nuts and bolts. There's some nails, there's some other random things like the can, but I'm just gonna sweep this whole area, get as much of it as I can, and pack it out of here. All right, let me show you what I've got so far. Look at all these nuts and bolts. There's a few nails in here, but mostly it's these old square-headed nuts and bolts. I feel like this maybe came off of a trailer or an old wagon or something. Who knows? Some of them are rather large. And then, of course, there's a few old cans here. So, pretty good haul for 20 minutes of work out here. All right, let's do it. We're gonna keep going northwest to the Wind River Range of Wyoming. South Pass City, population about 7, dogs around 4, cats approximately 4, mules 3-ish. Well, we've made it to South Pass City, Wyoming. This is kind of, I guess, an epicenter of Wyoming's gold rush from back in the gold rush days, and we're gonna go check it out.
South Pass is a really interesting gold rush town that started up in the 1860s when a couple of people from a nearby town found a quartz vein with gold embedded in it. And they came back to town and they told everybody that they knew about it. And before long, there were over 2,000 people in this valley. And what resulted were saloons and hotels and restaurants and houses, and of course the Carissa gold mine right up the hill. So where we are right now is a museum and a historical area that showcases kind of what this town was like during that gold rush that lasted from the 1860s to the early 1900s. This was built to store all of the food supplies for the town, and over time it transitioned into the town liquor supply, thus the heavy metal door behind me to protect all of the important goods for the town.
This is the blacksmith shop. It's a 1915s era coal-fire forged blacksmith shop. It still has the original anvil, many of the tools, old bellows, and it looks like it was frequently used to repair and to make wagon wheels. Over here is some of the machinery that they would use to bend the bands that went around the outside of the wagon wheels to make them durable. This must have been an epicenter of town. Anybody who needed anything repaired or built from scratch for working in the mines or keeping their wagon running probably had to come here. I really love that many of the old tools are still here. The old tongs, the blacksmith hammer, the anvil. Here's a vise for making axe handles, it looks like. It's all here. This is great.
You want to fly it?
Yeah.
Now this cabin could be the home of one of the most influential people that lived in this town. This is Esther Morris's cabin, and she is the first woman justice of the peace serving in 1870. Now this is really interesting. In Wyoming, in 1869, the Wyoming legislature passed a Women's Suffrage Act giving women the right to vote. The governor immediately signed it, and Wyoming was the first state to allow women the right to vote. Shortly thereafter, Esther became the first justice of the peace in the entire country. What a remarkable place.
This is the old printing press. Very cool to see. And even over here are all the characters. They'd print a newspaper, hang it up to dry, and I don't know, I guess it would go around town and people would read it. I'd assume at that time that people would maybe share papers and reuse them as much as possible, because I'd imagine even with this press, you still couldn't print, a huge number of things.
So this is Esther Morris. And you might be wondering how she became the first woman in the United States to hold public office. Well, the story is actually very simple. Her husband was arrested for a drunken fight in the middle of town, and she was struggling to pay for her family and take care of her kids. And she saw a job opening for a justice of the peace. She applied and got the job and became the first woman in the United States to serve in public office.
Well, this must be the old one-room schoolhouse. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. So right over here by the river, we've got a bin right here that's got gold pans, and you can actually take, these are mine tailings from the old mine, and they weren't very good at getting the fine gold out back then. It was just the big stuff. And so the woman told us that they put this here for people to try their luck panning, and some people have actually found some nuggets, and a lot of people have found some different flecks and smaller pieces of gold. I just put this into this pan, and we're gonna give it to Kathy and see if she can find some gold in here.
Is this a lucky pan?
I think so.
All right, let's see. So the way gold panning works is that gold is denser than most of the other things that are in the pan, and so it'll settle to the bottom. So as long as you don't shake it too hard, the most dense material will settle into the bottom, and often that's some black sand, which might be some kind of iron or something, and then the gold or any other heavy metals. Ooh, it's a pretty piece of quartz. That's cool. Maybe I'll keep that one. But I'm about down to the good stuff in the bottom. I'll show you what I got. Ah, okay. Whenever you find black sand like this, that is usually an indication that you might find gold as well. So we're getting down to the heavy metals here, and I'm just gonna kind of swirl this around a little bit more and see if we can find anything. But all the colors that are in here, kind of in there, oh, there are a couple of little gold shiny flecks in there. There's one like right in here. I don't know if you can see it. Ooh, there might be one. Right there is a little teeny tiny gold fleck. Well, I don't think we struck it rich today, but it was a great experience checking out this really cool old gold mining town.
This is the Carissa Mine. It is just right outside of the city here. And if you come on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, they give excellent, about hour-and-a-half long tours where you get to go through the mine and see everything that it is. All right, South Pass City, this has been a great stop, and I think it's really nice to separate our time in the desert to our time in the mountains. So let's go head up into the Wind River Range and get some of that mountain time.
Let's do it.
Boy, we're at about 9,500 feet and we have found a beautiful camp spot here. There's a little meadow here. We've got a few neighbors nearby, but everybody seems super cool.
So we've had a big day today and we're just gonna keep it simple for dinner. We have a little bit of leftover chicken and I'm gonna make a simple salad with chicken on the top. Ooh, beautiful. Okay, so we have some chicken left over from the other night, from dinner the other night. So I'm just gonna chop that up, put it on the top. Bon appetit.
Well, we've made it to Lander, Wyoming. What a cool drive this has been. I wanted to go from Steamboat Springs, Colorado, all the way to Lander on as many back roads as possible, and I feel like we've pulled it off. And if you guys want all the GPS coordinates and the full track for this trip, check out my Patreon. On our Patreon, we have field guides going all the way from the Arctic Ocean in Alaska, all the way down to central Mexico. And this will be another mini field guide that we're gonna do for this trip through Colorado to Wyoming. And this is a really special one. This is one that I haven't heard of anybody else doing, and I think you guys are gonna like it. All right, so after a handful of days, wandering around in the deserts and the forests and the mountains, there's one thing to do. Let's go into Lander and see if we can find a good restaurant. What a treat after a bunch of days out on the trail. This is the Middle Fork restaurant here in Lander, Wyoming. It's got great breakfast stuff, good lunch stuff, and we really enjoyed our meal there. All right, there it is. I hope that this inspires you guys to get out there, go explore between Colorado and Wyoming. There's some really great stuff out here, and I'm super excited to have done this trip. So that's it for today. We'll see you guys next week, and until then, I hope I see you somewhere over the horizon. Take care, guys. We're out of here.